This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. You know, conservatives do a lot of talking about the snowflakes on the left, about soy boys and libtards and whiny snowflakes. It's ultimately the crux of their argument. And it is conservatives and Republicans who are constantly whining and throwing fits about things that they don't like. Whether it be Colin Kaepernick silently taking a knee in protest of police violence against black men in this country, or any number of other culture war nonsense that they try to inflame. They also talk about separating from the United States, creating their own country, seceding from the Union, a civil war. There's even talk of bloodshed from Madison Cawthorn and many others. They always talk about their Second Amendment rights and how they're going to use them. But it is becoming more nuanced, which is a thing that I never thought I would say about Republican positions or talking points. Nuance. Michele Bachmann was recently on some kind of show on the Blaze where she is asserting that they should have separate institutions. Republicans should have separate institutions for healthcare and a number of different things. Watch this, and then we'll talk about it on the other side.
If there's anything that we're seeing right now as we're having this conversation, is that the decisions that are coming out of D.C. are nothing less than monstrous. I have never seen decisions this poorly made for the worst reasons, and they don't have the United States' best interests at heart. It is a bizarre time that we're living in. So that's why what you're talking about, Kevin, is extremely kind to people, because what you're trying to do is equip people so that they know how best to protect themselves, the assets they have now going forward. We need that, because I think what we're looking at is building parallel institutions, if you will. I think we're going to have to come up with our own parallel health care, because we're seeing even there's been threats from the United States government. If you don't get a vaccine, and again, I'm not getting into that war right now, but if you don't choose to get a vaccine, maybe your health insurance won't cover you. Maybe Medicare won't be there for you. Maybe you'll get cuts on your Social Security. That's why we have to build, I think, parallel institutions, whether be they financial, medical, you name it. We need to have parallel institutions, because we can't trust the better interests, that our better interests will be watched out for by the monsters that are currently in charge in D.C. And I don't say that lightly.
The monsters that are in charge in D.C., the monsters who are desperate for Americans to get vaccinated to curb the ravaging effects of a pandemic that has killed over 700,000 Americans in a short span of time. And it is laughable to hear this ding-dong, Michele Bachmann, who said that the January 6th insurrection was like a family reunion. It was like a happy family reunion. To hear her say that the decisions coming out of D.C. are monstrous and that they don't have people's best interests in heart. Remember when Donald Trump acted like the coronavirus was just the flu, and in just a few days it's going to go away. Like a miracle, it's going to be gone. There's only 15 cases in the entirety of the country, and in just a few days there will be zero. None. It's just like the flu. And then later we found out that he absolutely knew. We heard audio of him saying that he knew it was bad. He knew it was going to have ravaging effects on the population of the United States. She didn't have anything to say then about these monstrous decisions that don't have the best interest of Americans in mind, because they're hypocrites, liars and hypocrites, who, in this subtle way now, talking about separate institutions to protect themselves, whether it be healthcare or whatever else, is just a quiet dog whistle in line with the things that are said about secession and civil war. You don't get to have two Social Security systems. One set up for people who are vaccinated or whatever she's talking about, what conspiracy theory she's talking about, and one for regular Americans. You don't get a healthcare system for the unvaccinated and one for vaccinated people. And where is the liquidity going to come to build this infrastructure of this institution? Michele Bachmann, dumb shit. These people are impossible. These people will stop at nothing at tearing down the very fabric of our nation. And the Blaze here in the economic war room, whatever idiot show this is, they're going to enable her. Because it is the almost stated objective of Republicans to destroy America and Americans. I mean, if it weren't that way, why would they not be with full vigor encouraging Americans to get vaccinated? Why would they not be rushing to pass the debt ceiling, to increase the debt ceiling, to fund the government going forward? Why would they not be right on board with spending bills, $350 billion a year for 10 years to better the lives of Americans? Instead, because they're in the pockets of their donors, their corporate overlords, they do nothing because they don't represent Americans. They represent corporate interests and special interests and bigot groups, socially conservative psychos. What do you think, though? I'd love to know. You can call, leave me a brief voicemail, 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me, daily@dollemore.com. I love you guys. Thank you for taking time with me today. Follow me on social media if you haven't already. I'm at Dollemore all the way across the board. Wherever there's social media, I'm maybe there. I was going to say gonna be there, but, possibly there. And if I bring you value or bring you a smile to your face or sometimes a frown on days like this, if I bring you value, please consider supporting my work, helping produce the videos here, helping produce my podcast. You can go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast, or right here on YouTube, you can click the join button below the video and become a channel member for as little as $1.99 per month. Anyway, I love you guys. I will see you next time. Until I do, be genuine. Take care of one another.